Welcome back. You're watching Commodity Champions, and we are now talking about the agro commodities outlook for this quarter. Remember, we already have started a year which is an El Nino, and there have been initial first monsoon guidance that has come in from SkyMet, where they already have called it a below normal monsoon. Well, the important to watch is that the last couple of years also have been a below normal monsoon. So with the kind of deficiency that the country is looking at, we did see a knee-jerk reaction on many of these agriculture commodity prices, but there is more to it. We already have seen increase in MSPs. We have seen direct income supports. It's also in an election year. So there is going to be a tough balance that the government is trying to create between the consumers and the producers there. In the meanwhile, there are a few agriculture commodities which have been on a tear, and cotton clearly has been one of them, very, very volatile. And we have seen there's an expectation that a sixth estimate of cotton crop also may be revised on the lower side. Gnanasekar, what is your sense on cotton? Because we've seen multi-year highs and multi-year lows, and in a year, a 15 to 20% of a range is becoming quite normal. Sometimes that happens within months.
Absolutely. I think especially, when you have a crop season that's just going to start, it's usual. Every year you have the same question being asked, whether the monsoons are going to turn out well or not. And then eventually when the crop does come, you have a record crop, and that's what we've been seeing for the past decade or so. But I think this time around could be a change, because NOAA, which is the main weather body of US, has been putting an El Nino watch list for some time, and they've upgraded to an alert just recently. So there's a 70% possibility that we're going to see an El Nino and drought conditions and all that. So clearly, that along with the trade deal not happening and Chinese exports picking up as far as India is concerned, and the rupee also weakening, all this is clearly a signal that cotton prices are headed much higher in the near term. We're clearly seeing a drop in acreage and the drought conditions to continue having a severe impact on the supply side. Overall bullish scenario clearly for cotton going forward. So it's an ideal time to do some bit of hedging in case one is in the industry, because we are going to see prices shoot up in the near term, purely based on the sentiment and the weather aberrations. So we see a bullish market for cotton ahead, and consumers are going to find it a bit tough, but then I guess over time they get adjusted to price elasticity.
Well, that one is a clear winner, clearly. But when the weather concerns are being talked about, the other thing that runs up is guar prices, Naveen. And with the crude prices up, weather concerns, are you betting on this one?
Very much, Manisha. We have seen the prices moving up quite a bit over the last couple of days and weeks. I think more to do with the monsoon, and the prediction which has come in yesterday talks about some kind of a bullish trend to continue. I think 4,400 is something where the prices are hovering around 4,400, 4,500 levels where the guar seed is. I think the prices may touch around 4,600 levels on the Indian markets, particularly if we talk about the Indian exchanges and CDX. And similarly for the guar gum too, which is trading at around, I would say, 9,000 or so, the upside can be seen to an extent of approximately 9,200 levels or so. But I'm not too bullish on the gum, but seed definitely looks positive, at least for next couple of days and a week or 10 days from here.
All right, so near term is bullish for the guar seed as well. Another area which has been very volatile, Kunal, and that has been the edible oil space. I mean, we've seen everything actually walk in a different direction, whether it is mustard or soybean or castor for that matter. How have you read the space, and is there a better pick that you're taking out?
First of all, regarding the monsoon, we've seen the forecast indicating that this year is going to be El Nino, but at the same time, the IOD is going to be positive. So I do not think that it's too early to call that the monsoon is going to be bad, and we should not worry about it from this moment onward. So that is one thing. Second thing about the fundamentals of agriculture commodity, definitely very bullish going forward. The moment the Chinese deal takes place with the US, in fact, in that, one thing is very clear, that the US exports to China of agricultural commodity is going to shoot up after that, because that is one area where China also needs US as keenly as the US needs China. So I think this is a proposition where the international edible seeds and oil prices are going to take a major lift. Chinese economy expected to stabilize going forward with the kind of efforts they've taken. So internationally, edible oil seeds and oil complex look bullish. From Indian perspective, if the sowing is less or if the monsoon is not in line with the expectation, then the drop in yield, what we've been seeing in soybean from last many years, we see a good sowing and then we see suddenly a drop in yields. So I think it looks bullish to me, but the near month, not the far month, the near month contract can still rally, and I think the broad call as of now for the edible seeds and oil both remains bullish. So soybean 38.50 kind of levels what you can expect going forward.
Gnanasekar, what is your sense? Because you follow edible oil space quite closely as well. Anything that you are going bullish on with the kind of scenario we're working with?
Yeah, even in edible oils, we have seen prices languishing in these lows for quite some time now. So I think it's preparing itself for a big move higher simply because of the fact that you have international prices, and if you look at palm, we're getting into a demand season. You have the Ramzan demand coming up, and then Middle East and India will be buying, and China still not sorted out the terms with the US. So you still have the soybean problem, and they would look at alternatives. I believe that could sort of add to the momentum here. So, as far as India is concerned, like I said, like Kunal just mentioned about the weather issues, if they were to happen, I think there's a lot of switching which will happen. First of all, I think this time around there'll be movement to cotton because cotton has fairly performed well last year also. Okay. So there'll be some switching also which might sort of have a positive impact on the edible oil complex. And with the way prices have languished, I think it's the right time for edible oil prices to do well. So I'm seeing that edible oil complex doing extremely well in the coming quarters.
Okay. Kunal, 30 seconds. Anything else that you're picking up in agri commodities for this quarter?
I think in pulses segment, Chana looks very bullish to me. 44.50, 4500, good levels to go along. Upside target 4800, 4850 going forward in next 2 months. The crop, we've seen a drop in crop in India, and international prices have been constantly moving up. So I think Chana looks pretty bullish.
All right, so chana to cotton to edible oils to guar. It's a bullish line that we have created for you for this quarter as well. Gentlemen, Kunal, Gnanasekar and Naveen, thank you so much for joining us and helping the viewers make a confirmed choice, informed choice actually when it comes to commodities for this quarter. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Commodity Champions. Thank you for watching.